On this episode of the Black Boss Ladies Platform, massage therapy is a lot more acceptable right now.
Yes.
Versus back then.
Exactly. I thought I was successful by getting my degree in marketing, going back to big city Chicago, working at an advertising company. With this money, I'm opening up a spa.
Really?
And I was
No.
Yeah. You can't just...
Welcome to the Black Boss Ladies Platform, the place where legacies live.
Hi, and welcome to the Black Boss Ladies Platform Podcast. I am your host today, Tiffany Lee, and this is my co-host, Julia Myers.
Hello, guys. And today we are interviewing Stefanie Moore, who is an occupational therapist and founder of Care for the Caring, a nonprofit organization. And we're going to deep dive into her story of why we picked her to be a Black Boss Lady. So welcome to our podcast, Stefanie.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you for having me. Occupational therapy. First, can you tell our audience what does that mean?
Occupational therapy is a form of physical medicine, just very similar to physical therapists. Some people even joke that physical therapists teach you how to walk, occupational therapists teach you how to dance. So it's basically saying that whatever diagnosis, through different adversities, we are able to treat you in your ADLs, with its activities of daily living. To, a mother had a stroke and she wants to be able to hold her child, and continue to care for her child. This is the things that we do to get you back to restoration after your, whatever trauma incident you had. Yeah. So, in turn, we're very close with physical therapists, but that's just our little joke we have.
So how would that work though? So, if someone had a stroke and you're teaching her how to hold her child, how does that look?
So you go through a series of assessments, see how much of a deficit it is, how bad the stroke was, to see the rehab potential. And then you are, that's what you can kind of get your master's program, it's a master's degree program, and you come up with a treatment plan. And so the treatment plan may entail actual activities, like, well, let's work together and do your activities to get you back to this, or just certain exercises to strengthen those muscles that were weakened, different cognitive activities. Some things are just, where those nerve endings aren't communicating properly, so we have to strengthen those. So that's kind of overall, but it's so many layers and levels of OT, whether you're in a school system and working in a hospital, outpatient rehab, home health, it's just so many levels.
The first thing that's coming to my mind is everybody Jamie Foxx had a stroke, right? And I seen an interview when he's talking about like this is a long road to recovery. So that probably includes someone like from your background, like getting that long-term care.
Yes. So Jamie Foxx's story resonates with me so much on different levels. Just even the whole social media aspect to it. Just the they must have called him. He was in the hospital. Well, rehab, some people consider that still a hospital, but if you're in rehab, like he came to Chicago, he went to Shirley Ryan, awesome rehab. I almost worked there for a hot second, but I couldn't get up at 6 in the morning. And he had to do like at 6 a.m. I couldn't do it. But so some people consider that, like, no, you're in a hospital. No, you're there because you're able to get treatment 3 hours a day. And you can't do that at home, and you can't do that in an actual hospital. So that's why he was there so long. And if you're working with somebody 3 hours a day, that's a lot of work. And again, it's the exercise, it's the nerve repair. I mean, it's just everything they need to restore. Because when we don't know if it was cardiovascular, we don't know if it was a stroke, we don't know what exactly he had, but whatever it was, he got the amount of therapy he needed.
So how does a person get to say, I want to be an occupational therapist? Like, is this something you woke up one day and say, I'm going to school and this is what's going to happen?
So, no. Occupational therapy was a complete career change for me.
Okay.
And, my story kind of flows together, but it was so far not on my list. Not even so far. It was not even a thought about. I initially got my degree in marketing from Alabama A&M University.
I'm a marketing major
You
too.
are?
Yes.
Okay.
Communications major.
Yes.
Businesses and promotion.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one thing I love about having a marketing degree is everything's a business. You're marketing yourself, whatever you're doing, yourself, your business, your family, whatever you're doing, it's still you're creating a perception and image about that particular thing. And so I just knew that's where I was going. And advertisement, everybody we watch Boomerang, and that's what I'm going to.
Right.
I know.
That
Boomerang. That was it. Marketing,
That had
advertising.
anything to do with me.
That was me.
Copywriter.
Really?
Oh wow.
Oh, so
That's
that's
a journalist.
yep, absolutely. And so that's what I kind of just was like, this is what I'm going to do. So graduated, and then I already lived in a big city, Chicago. So it was like, okay, I'm
We're
going
gonna get
back
into a
home.
marketing job.
It's a lot of
That-
agencies.
Yeah, and I went straight into RJ Dale Advertising and Public Relations.
Okay.
And so, look, not to tell my age, but literally when I was graduating, Facebook was just starting. So I had, we were working on the Illinois Lottery was one of our clients. Jules Costco was our client. We did some things. If you guys remember when Smokey Robinson had Soul in a Bowl, Gumbo, or something, he was trying to branch out. That was Smokey.
was trying to That is so funny.
That
But it's like
Patty just early.
Exactly. He was
It was too early for social.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
So now we're, we have these clients, and now they're seeing, wait, people are literally able to market themselves for free via social media.
It changed the world.
It changed. That has changed marketing.
It changed
That's why I was like, if you came out of school right before Facebook, it's like the whole marketing phase.
It changed.
Social media changed it. Yeah.
Exactly. And so then my company had to cut down. Then they needed me at work from 9 to almost 9 at night, because now one person, they had to compete with, whereas companies needed us to do everything, they were figuring out to do
it. They started
And
creating own
thing. So, and it is.
Because I think about that too, because you're out right before Facebook. I'm in college. We are the first students, because you remember Facebook had to have a .edu.
Yep.
So I'm in my third year when that happens, and I graduated with a marketing degree, and there's no jobs because the industry has shifted so much.
Yeah, and that's what was going on. So then companies said, well, not only do you, when you have a marketing degree, we need you to be a web designer. You have to be able to do the creative
And that's two
aspect.
different worlds.
Two different.
They
You
don't
had your
just graphic
creative
design.
graphic design. You had your graphic design person. Then you had the marketing, the PR person, and then now that has to be the whole thing. So that's what I went in, and I just was like, okay, I am burnt out. I thought success. I thought I was successful by getting my degree in marketing, going back to a big city, Chicago, working at an advertising company.
So your vision had manifested.
Exactly.
It just didn't end up being what you thought.
Exactly, because once you're in there, what does it look like? What is it now? Is my vision my reality, And so I just was burnt out. I'm like, I don't even have kids or anything. I'm going to work slaving and crying, and then, so, and my mother, one thing she would always do, anytime I came home from after my finals and things like that, we would go to a spa. And so we would just, decompress, go, relax, breathe. And so every time I come home, we would go. And right before I graduated from college, my grandmother passed. And so my brother and I were her only grandchildren. And so she, left us some funds. So after going to a spot, being stressed out of my job, I'm one of my Aries. So we're very,
So it's my mother and my husband and all my family.
we're ambitious, but we can be extreme at times. And it's like, we got an idea and we're done. And so I say that because I said, with this money, I'm opening up a spa.
Really?
And I was,
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You can't just zoom
I'm
past
so
that.
sorry.
Wow.
So I said, with this, I'm opening up a spa.
Just from going to the spa? Like,
I
what
was,
is that?
This was a regular basis.
so this was some years of going.
While they were in
And
college.
yeah, that's what I would do every time we were performing. So I love going to spa, and then I went to this Black-owned spa.
Yeah.
One of the, that was the first time because we didn't really own spas like that. And
People
so,
get to know that.
Yeah, that's very true.
and I've always been a spiritual person. So just jumping back really quick, when I was going into my senior high school, I had a cyst in my neck, and the doctors thought it was cancerous. And not only did they think it was cancerous, they wanted to remove the cyst. This is before the biopsy, and it should not have even been their thoughts until they knew for sure. It should not have been told to me. It should have been told to my mom because I wasn't 18 yet. So that was a whole nother journey. But making a long story short, they removed the cyst, and they didn't know if they were going to have to cut the nerve to my lip. And every time, I had panic attacks on a regular. You better call 911. This is 17 years old. I thought I was dying, and I ended up. The only place I would go was church because I literally had a fear of leaving the house. And this was like maybe June. It's the summer and going into my senior. I would only go to church, and every time I went to church, the pastor was like he was talking directly to me, and I said, "Wow, who is a God that would use a man to speak just to me each and every time?" And from every sermon, it was like, I got you. I am with you through all of this. And not only was it not cancer, they did not have to cut the nerve. And my relationship grew so close with God. That's why I listen to him in everything I do. I can't move without him. So when people start off talking about their journey and think, we have a relationship with God. I'm sorry. So, but yeah, so that's that. So that's how. So fast forwarding to going to spas, hearing, just
Can
kind
I
of.
ask you a question on that? So, because I was wondering when you said that, Sherry, Julia said that you had got your dream job, and then you were just worn out, and so that's what I was wondering. Like, between that transition from that job to this spa, was there some type of, depression going on, or?
Yeah, no, it really wasn't a depression, but it was definitely like just a true uneasiness. Like I am
questioning.
I'm like, what in the world, dude? What's next? What's next?
Right.
And I did well in college, but you come out with these student loans, and it's like, well, how am I going to change my career? Okay, you kind of like,
right?
who am I? Who kind of just say you're not doing this anymore? So, but I was just gonna do the business side. I know marketing. I know this. I could just do the business and run. But one thing I know, again, what college teaches business, you have to talk to somebody else doing it. Anything you want to do, whether it's a conversation, whether you decide to be an intern, I can just do this by going to spas, And
it's even smart if you could get a part-time job at one.
Absolutely,
right?
That's even most of
because I remember reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he was saying that intention is everything, right? So once he met his rich dad, he told him to, when you go to work for somebody, you're not going to work for them. You're going to work to figure out how they're doing what they're doing, because your intention is to get the game and get out, right? So that's the difference from quote unquote a poor person telling you to go get a job and you stay there, right?
Exactly.
So you got what you say, you gotta go, you gotta understand that space.
Right. And we have to understand too that it's levels to that too. Because I'm very familiar with Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I love that concept. I mean, because it is accurate. It's a true concept. But we have to know that it's seasons for everything. And I say that because we have so many people now on social media think, no, I gotta be an entrepreneur. I gotta be this. I gotta own this. I gotta have this. And no, having a job is still okay.
It is.
Exactly. Like, you're not this slave to this company if you're, like you said, getting the...
What's the intention?
Yeah, what's the intention or information?
Sometimes they're your first investors because you're taking their check to build your business. It's so many. We interviewed and her interview hasn't posted yet, but she was saying how like freedom looks different, right? Just because you're working for a company, I know friends that work for companies, they make great money and they have a lot of freedom in like their time, their day, you know. So it can look different in so many ways. Don't get caught up in the
don't get it. And my husband, for instance, I mean, he worked corporate, he's an engineer, worked in that area for a minute, you know, went straight full out entrepreneur, 7 years. But we literally thought about it morning, noon, and night, everything, every hour. You know what I mean? You had to think about your business. It woke you up out your sleep. And not to say that's not a great thing too. But he went back into a position where at 3:30,
he gets to go phone,
cut it off, go off. And that's where, and even like a teacher, if you desire to teach kids, that don't mean you're supposed to own the school.
Right.
You may
look at Rachel on what's the name? Me and my husband was I don't know. We just had a kid, so I've been thrown into this new world of parenting. And the TV was stopped on. You know how you just have it sitting there before you play anything. And I looked Rachel. I can't remember. She's the
black lady.
No, she's the white lady. She's teaching like kids how to
sound. So that with
79 million views.
Wait a minute. What is this?
So is that the one who's zooming on her mouth?
Yes.
She's
teaching kids
outward.
Yeah, and my baby know how to say ball and stuff now from watching her.
Yeah, so she is animated, but it's not this things that are distract. It's not a lot happening. And you know, they focus on her mouth like in a square part of the TV, a little square box, and she just, you know, pronunciates the words. And these kids,
they start talking. One video had 79 million views. One. And then I scrolled, there was another one 74. So that's a teacher, right?
Yeah.
And she's not going to open up a school, but she's taking her skills and putting it on social media.
And my mother, the same way. My mother, high school math teacher, and she decided to start teaching kids math through social studies. So like through maps and things like that. And she was a tutor, and then she created a game and things like that. But she was still a high school teacher, and then the other avenues allowed her to have an increase in income. But that was her love and passion.
You got to get career counsel. That's what it sounds like to me, sir. Some people want to jump out into the entrepreneurial world, but you got to kind of get some career counsel and some experience under you.
That's why I'm worried about you doing this spa.
Right.
No, from not wanting to work with these people from 9 to 9, but then you open your own spa. Right.
About that.
So, jumping back to that, so I said, well, let me, you know, do my research, because I knew we had to talk to somebody. So I went to 2 spas, and I had to be creative because I didn't know if you say, hey, I want to open up a spa, and you have a spa, tell me what I need to know. Because, exactly, what information I get. So I just told her I was still in school, in marketing, doing a research project on spas.
I did a research project.
I'm doing a research project.
I am, though.
And exactly.
Just
so
like
can you please? And I was flooded with information. I'll never forget. I never forget Betty Odom Day Spa in Hyde Park, one of the oldest running Black-owned spas. And she said, one thing she said to me, babe, you got to be able to do something within the spa. You can't just own a spa. And I wasn't, you know, I was telling her I was doing a research project, but I wanted to do it as just the owner. And that was one of the first things she said. She said, so what if this person doesn't come to work? What if that person doesn't come to work? You have to be able to do something. And that next week, So
I'm gonna do something.
Oh yeah, so I'm gonna do something. So and then I still felt crazy. Like, wait, didn't you just graduate with a learning degree? You're working at an advertising company, but now you're going to massage therapy.
Talk about that, because that's got to be something going on in your mind, right? I don't know about you, but when I got to college, I feel like I was supposed to have this title and it was supposed to look a certain way and all that. And now you're going back to
Yeah.
Like
So,
that's just not something you just click and do.
And we have to think about the time.
Yes.
Because massage therapy is a lot more acceptable right now.
Yes.
Versus
Back
Back
then.
then.
Exactly.
But then it's a
Kinda
shift
hard.
still. Because I'm going to tell you how that shift happened. Because of what is more, people are more sexually fluent, or not even, I don't want to say more, I should say we're exposed to it more. Because people are showing these two-hand massage by the men, and you know, and these, and like, it's like, what direction is this going to? And honestly, that's what took me to OT, because one thing I'm told, going back to the spot thing, went to massage therapy school, fell in love, like, oh my God, look, did I like just literally stop somebody from having a heart attack, like, because I relieve stress, that I just, my hands just do it, and people are healing hands, and, you know, some people were in tears because it was like massage caused them to release, you know, certain things that were going on. Yeah, like, you know, just with
a lot of
them.
energy, because it's giving me kinetic energy too. Like,
Yeah.
it's a lot of energy in the body.
It is. And I would pray, I would say, Lord, don't transfer any negative energy from me to my client or from them to me, because your hands are on this person for one more time. And
that's why I'm interject here. That's why I don't let people touch me.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
and sometimes I feel like, you're a little kooky for that. But it's like, do you like massage? Not really.
Not everybody is that
People touching me, because it is. I mean, now I start to realize it can be that transfer.
Yeah.
I just never. I'm like,
don't work with a group of massage therapists, because, well, I mean, you know, and I feel we will be in the spa and somebody might just come up to you, rubbing your back. I mean, because you're touching people so much, touch is not, you know, it doesn't mean as much to us. So saying that to say, I knew that I enjoyed doing massage. I knew, but it was still important to me to be at, like, I was still doing research for my own. And I knew to be at higher end spas, because you kind of avoid the mess going on in spas, and not in spas. Well, cut that. No, let me say that. But just that stigma on it as it being sexual. I went to all professional.
Yeah.
So I was at East Bank Club. I was at the Walnut Astoria. So, you know, and you can make a better living there, because this massage was so expensive. Yeah. So, and then when I saw massage going in that direction, and more importantly, I was getting clients who did have strokes. You know, a young lady, I'll never forget her story. 37 years old, had a stroke, was engaged to be married. Fiance said, "Look, I can't do this. I can't." You know, she was disabled, and she came to me for massages. Another client, banker, slammed his hand in the bolt, closing the bank vault, and it cut off all his fingers. So they had to reattach him, and I was working with him. So I just knew I wanted to go deeper.
It's levels to things.
It's levels, right? And I said, I'm like, I don't want just to be the, but so I did start the process to own a spa. I found a location in the West Loop, started my drafting, and all of that. And we did have, this was when Bush was in office, and we had a crash then with the economy. And I just started talking to more and more spa owners, and I didn't realize, as a brick and mortar, sometimes the owner wasn't getting paid. Yeah. They had to pay their staff.
Yeah, it's a lot of overhead.
I went and spoke with, what was that, Honey Child? Is your, right, because we're not. So she was like one of the first Black-owned spas that was in the Gold Coast. And so I spoke with her, and she was doing well. But again, it just was hard to sustain the spa that I like. And that's why you had the spa doing so well at the East Bank Club or at the Hotel Water, because the hotel, the gym could fund those areas.
Yeah.
And so you're not, and it ended up being a lot of stress on the owner. So that's where I just moved it, to just working there and realizing, hey, it's not about success. But to me at that time was, now I want my own business. Now I want this. And it wasn't. It still was about taking care of my client, my patient, and saying, you can be stress free, whatever it was. You can come, because you end up becoming a therapist sometimes when you're doing that. A lot of people just need to release, talk about everything going on in their world. And so that's where
you redefine success for yourself, because I feel like listening to your story, you had this idea of what it was supposed to be like, but the more you take your journey, the more you're redefining what that success actually looks like for you.
Exactly.
And for you, it's having a clientele that you're literally serving, and taking care of, and seeing them progress through life-changing events like a stroke, and now my life is over. I slam my hands in the door, and I don't have 4 fingers. 1 hour you do, the next you don't. That's a lot of trauma that comes with that. So being that angel there for those people, that becomes your success.
And knowing that the new mom, the new mom that is not used to not getting her rest and waking up caring for this baby, and when you have a type A personality and you start running things and things moving at your pace, and this child comes in the world and gives you a reality check like, nope, it does not run that way. It's gonna change. And for that mom to come to a spot and say, you know what, I can remove all of that out of my head for this moment, take care of me, and go back home and be more present for that child, because you now
I think I want to add this to my schedule.
You should.
So me and Ricky went to Ancient Bath recently.
Oh yeah?
And I was like, we just was like, well, why haven't we done this? Like, I need this.
What is Ancient Bath?
Ancient Bath is a spa. It's amazing. They have a salt bath where you just floated.
Yeah, my husband could not float to save his life anymore, but he could float.
It does. Yes.
And I was like, man, I do. And I have it's so funny, I have a gift card right now to massage. I'm going to be booking that one.
Yeah.
So you go into this space and you're doing massage, so you want to go deeper. Is this when occupational therapy comes in?
So that's when it comes in, but right before that comes in, then I'm hearing these stories of women. So now, they're telling me, I had this horrible date, I had this, or I'm having this bad relationship, or I'm having this. And I'm like, these women, we gotta get to the bottom of this thing. Like,
like you can solve that. You should be the richest.
Right, exactly. And at that time, I'm dating myself.
Right. Because you're not married with children.
No, not married with children yet. And so I literally say, I'm like, one thing I do know is I knew by the 3rd day, look, if this was going to be somebody that was worth my time, I honestly, I was not a dating guru, but for me, I knew.
Just pay attention.
I pay attention.
And understanding your self-worth.
Yes.
And I had these sort of questions in my head that I would ask, because I never wanted to sound like I was interrogating anybody. Yeah. But I knew if you ask the right question, you can then get the answers you're looking for.
And you want to know what? And we're going to go down this road, because you write a book.
Yeah.
But you just said something that was very, I've seen women, because we all have women, friends, and from all walks of life. And you just live and you just pay attention. And there are some women that ask questions. And they're not interrogating, but they're really. And I know people that be like, I don't want to ask them questions because you don't want to know. Why wouldn't you want to know? And then you're dealing with all that at the back end because you were afraid to just ask the question.
And then that's what I was talking about in dealing with the self-worth part, right?
Yeah.
Because the reason why they don't want to ask those questions is because they feel like, oh, I'm going to run him away,
But
right?
Right.
So like some people, man,
and they just don't want
away.
exactly. They
And
don't
if
want to
he
know.
can't-
Like, why do you not want to know? Like, you
If
really
he
want to go on some blind.
can't answer that question, or that's too much, or he feels, then look, that's not the one anyway. Because the person that's truly into you, everybody knows whether you were attracted to him or not. Everyone knows when a person was really, really
You
into
do.
you. And so if he's into you where you need him to be to even consider going any further, then he's going to be able to answer those questions.
Just
and not
like
have
when on a
problem
job
with
interview, they don't go and say, "Ooh, I want to ask this candidate
Exactly.
questions."
that.
How you know if they qualify for the position?
And that was what the book was side. That's how. So a friend of mine ended up saying, she said, "I'm about to go on a date. Give me some of those questions that you." And I gave her a few. She's like, "You need to write a book about it." I said, "Well, dang it! Between hearing the women's stories and her saying it."
So tell us the book. What's
Yeah,
the
so the
book?
book is called "What You Should Know About a Man After the Third Date." Dating is for collecting data, not just date. Like, that's it, something like that. But it's not just for something. So, but the book title is called "What You Should Know About a Man After the Third Date." But that was always my little slogan I was saying with the book. But so I wrote that in 2008.
Okay.
Yeah, I wrote that in 2008, and I never.
Give us two questions.
I was thinking, I was like,
Oh,
I should
And I had to
You
give
got some women
here.
listening here,
Right.
BBL Platform, if you still
I
feel that.
had to give the because if you do the math, that's 15 years of that. So for instance, so the book starts off like this. Number one, because it's not just about the 50 questions. It's 50 questions. It's still on Amazon actually too.
We make sure
I'm
to
on Amazon.
make sure to put the link to the book in it.
Yeah. But the book starts off with qualities I have to offer, and then it's qualities you're looking for. Because one thing, again, along with that, not answering or asking the main questions, you need to know what you're bringing to the table, and you need to know what you're actually looking for. Because I've been in a situation where I dated a guy, and I thought I wanted all of this, and got that, and felt that I was a little intimidated at times, you know. So
Right.
you know, you have to know what you want, and not that means you need to scale down or anything like that. You just need to know where you need to build yourself up. So then we move to breaking the book down in different categories like spirituality and things like that. And so you want to kind of know, you know, are you equally yoked? So it was things like one of the questions that I would still recommend women ask is there anybody who can walk in the room, if you're on a date with a guy, is there anybody who can walk in the room and, you know, basically, what did I say exactly? I should have brought the book. But just say anybody that can walk in and be upset that you're sitting here with
That's
me
why I
right
should
now.
say claim them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
like, you know,
anybody can
something
claim
like,
you.
and that's kind
I
of
used to, you know what's so funny? I used to say that too. I used to be like, can anybody claim you?
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, you probably don't claim nobody, right? Because men be like, I ain't got nobody, I ain't got nobody.
Yeah.
But they used to be like, can anybody claim you?
And that's why I had to have it written in that particular way, because sometimes men just need a situation, a visual. Because if they get the visual, they're gonna just tell you off of, oh well, yeah. Now Keisha, ain't nothing going on, but she might try to come over here and say something. Or this
Nobody can claim you.
Exactly. So that's why you have to
Until you went out the game for
Well,
a very
I married my high school.
sweet.
I didn't even really get to play the game for it. But I
game
was
is straight.
like, well, first of all, I would say no. It is Keisha.
right.
But that's
Because you should ask.
You should
But that's the thing, if you ask them if they got a woman, they're gonna be like, no.
No, right.
But they just probably slept with somebody 2 hours.
Right.
before they came with you. So that's why you gotta say, well, can anybody claim you?
Exactly.
I know what I'm
And
saying.
sometimes
The fact that
men-
they're actually telling the truth is a good thing.
They will.
They really
They'll say, you know, I may talk to somebody, you know.
Oh, they don't think that it's going to affect the relationship.
Yeah.
Because they
So
don't
what
what they
if
want.
somebody planning to do?
Well, you know, then you need, you know, because that's the thing with the book. The book will never tell you how to do things. Just like Michael said, I'm even married women now. you're going through something, I'm not going to tell you what to do in your rest. I'm going to ask you the right questions to kind of help
Okay. Decide.
decide. So you can get a level
So,
of
like,
awareness.
yeah, that is great.
That is
I was sitting here thinking, so what's the advice? But he was like, hey, you have to feel this situation out. So if
I love
you,
that.
yeah, I'm like, yeah, they have to make their own decisions about that.
Because and sometimes men don't know how to make clear cut ends. So even if it's the child mother, a woman that may not go anywhere, then you have to figure out how to communicate with her in a certain way that you cut ties, because for whatever reason, she can be upset that you and I are sitting here. Some communication is not
Something that's going
wrong.
Probably
And
still
you may not be
every once in a while.
right. You could be, or you're something.
She
Some
could be
you know is
emotional
there.
attachment.
Exactly.
Sometimes people think that it's always physical, but y'all could probably just have a level of emotion attachment that hasn't been dissolved.
Exactly.
So I feel like she may feel like, yo, I'm gonna be mad if I see you.
And I think I'm going to say, I've been more and more thinking as I get older that if you have just sexual contact with someone, that is like a lasting relationship, even though you're not in a relationship with that person.
Is.
So then you take that one step further, and then you guys actually have a child together.
Yeah.
That is an even more lasting relationship. You're always in a relationship with that person, and so can you accept that?
And
you have to ask yourself.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they come with multiple. But okay,
So
let's go back to the book. You write the book.
So write book, and then the book too, it just had different quotes to for women to have, increase their self-esteem, because that's what it internally is. It goes back
to your level of self-esteem.
Yes.
Because I know it's been times before I was married, if I look at the person I was dating, I realized that I wasn't even doing that well in my life at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I accepted these things from this person. But then I was doing better in life at this time. This person was pretty dope, even though it didn't work out, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, you really do date at your level of self-esteem.
Absolutely. So that's kind of where, that we're in the end, it's never like, oh, I have to write more books, or I had to be the bestseller. I just needed to kind of get it out. Just get it out. And, to this day, women have said that help, or just even for the woman that wasn't the, best at communicating or asking no questions, this just kind of gives her idea to just go off of it, wonder why, and it tells you why you should ask each question.
And those questions help you too, right? Because you wrote this when you were single, right? But you're only going to give out advice you're using. So how did this help you?
So it's crazy because I met my husband as I was writing the book. And he was one of my best promoters. He would be out there with me pushing his book. And that's, and it did. We met at a time where we both were interested in being in a committed relationship. And he joked and would say, I'm dating 5 twos to get to a 10, because you don't meet men completely single. So he was honest.
I love that.
He was honest. He said, I've got 5 twos. And not
5 twos.
All the exes, not twos in the sense of a 2.
They're right, but
they're compatibility. Their compatibility. It could have been, he hadn't had children. They had children, didn't want any more children. Mm-hmm. So, that technically, no matter how beautiful you are, that's it. So that was this little joke. But he was just, became like one of my best friends. That allowed us to, because I did want him to kind of clear all that up, and and allow our relationship to grow and soar, which it.
And how long have you been married?
Going on 15
years. So those questions were related.
Yeah.
And you guys have how many children?
3 children.
Now let me tell you let me tell y'all just a little bit quick, just a side story. When I met Stefanie, we was going to the well, and we was in cycling. And this cycle class used to be so hard, right? It's so hard. You sweating, it's 100,000 degrees, you're pumping and everything. And I'm holding on for dear life, guys. Dear life. And I look to the right of me, this lady, and she just getting above her belly like, oh, hell here. And I'm like, yo, I'm dying and I don't have it. And then I find out she's pregnant with twins.
Pregnant with twins.
Oh, wow.
I said,
Still on that bike.
still on that bike. I couldn't believe it.
Absolutely.
And that's how we met.
Absolutely, that's why we met. And I always tell people that's why even like again with success, it like health is wealth. And
Health
all
is
this-
well. And let me tell you, this lady, like Stephanie, I still can't believe it.
Yeah. And I'm trying to get myself back together there too, because health is wealth. And literally what it takes to be successful on your health journey, weight loss journey, is the same thing it takes to be in business. I mean,
It's very true.
the discipline,
The discipline, intention.
intention.
Yeah.
If you fall off one day, cheat meal, you got to pick yourself back up and get back on. Same thing, if a bad deal goes, that don't mean you lay down and give up. You just got to get back up and keep going. And so both of them go hand in hand.
Yeah.
I agree. And I will always be an advocate for taking care of yourself, working out, fitness, eating healthy, because all of that, sleeping well, all of that plays a major role.
Yeah, I'm learning a whole lot right now, even after Maverick with the health thing. Like it's a continuous journey. Like then I was working out crazy, but I really didn't understand nutrition, right?
Yeah.
So learning more about protein, learning more about hormones and how your body responds to different food, and sending your insulin up and all, like it's just just uncovering like a whole nother level of like, I don't want to just lose weight because we can't lose weight, lose weight gain. I want to understand how to make my body function better so that my mind function better and everything. Like it's just this whole other journey.
It is. No, it is. And I'm there too, because it's like I need to, I want to remember things. I want to be present. When you're younger, you said, hey, I'm going to tell my body what to do. Now, sometimes our bodies going to tell us what they go.
I don't want that.
And
That's
I
what I said last night. I was like, I don't like that.
Right.
I don't like that feeling.
Exactly. Or having a good time with friends, let me have some margaritas, And now I wake up and I can't wait. What was I doing? What was I saying? It's like, no, whatever last night I need to say.
I can do that.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, and that was another thing for me, speaking about like sleep and eat right. My twins did not sleep through the night till they were 9 months. So and my support.
They lived.
I'm for real. Here. My support group were of twin moms, well, 2 women who only had twins. They didn't have to. And I will tell you, it is a difference. Having one
I couldn't even imagine.
and having twins, like a 14-year-old and 3-year-old twins, and having one, and it's like completely different. And so
you're different because that's a big gap too.
yes, a big gap, and that was the thing too. When we had Chloe, that was the whole in between the career change into OT and doing all that, and it was like we had her so early on. It's like, well, let's kind of just enjoy each other before we try and later on, and so. And then the twins came, but I couldn't even lose weight after having them.
I saw you after the twins.
What? And today, thank you. Look, better than I did now. The toddler stage is what you forget. When they start eating real food, pizza and nuggets, and then you like, I'm out of money I spent on that. Give me that nugget. Give me that. Finish it. That's a whole.
This toddler world a whole nother
toddler world a whole nother world. But I couldn't sleep fully through the night until they did, and then that's when weight started finally falling off because I was sleeping.
I did see you when they were probably went to.
Yeah. Because the whole COVID world.
Yeah, the COVID. Yeah,
Mhm.
started right after that. So tell me about it. You say, no, I'm not going to open this spa. I got enough wisdom from people to know that that's not really the direction I want to go in. But I love this space.
Yeah.
So from massage therapy, when do you get your do you got to get a different degree?
Yeah, so coming from marketing to OT,
Yeah.
I hadn't took that much biology, psychology, all those courses. So I had to do those
So you go back to school.
So I go back to
for
school.
another
get your master's.
Your master's.
And now in 2025, you have to have your doctorate. So I'm grandfathered in.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm grandfathered
Okay,
in.
so if
Everybody
you're
has to
sitting
have a
there,
doctorate now.
Yeah.
okay, let's talk about that.
Physical
That's
therapy.
interesting because there are people that may be interested in going this direction, and you have to get a doctor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doctorate.
Okay.
So we're jumping in and it was, I mean, it's still, now I'm not just changing my career as a single Stephanie. I'm now married with my Chloe
Mm-hmm.
and telling my husband, okay, I want to go back to school. I think I want to go back to work.
And not being there, you got to do homework.
That part. And I went into this whole, look, I wrote a book and now I'm married. And so I'm cooking for my husband and my child and I'm being present and we're doing date nights and we're having fun and to going back to school. Not only, I'm pulling away financially, but I'm also study groups, things, not being there. Yeah, I have an image in my head of getting ready to leave for a study group, and my daughter is holding onto my leg, saying, "Please don't go."
Oh, wow.
Like I'm dragging to the door, like, "Hey, can you get her? Can you?" He's like, "I ain't really feeling all this anyway."
In the back, you ain't making it better. And mom guilt is real. When
Mom
is
real. It's beyond real.
real.
And this is why I say I can't move without God and I have to be spiritual in everything I do because I knew that He said, do this, go for it. That was the only thing that got me out the door because anything else would have
just kept you there.
And my mom too. My mom literally, has our master's in psychology from University of Chicago. I mean, she just knew you can do this. You got this. And I'm like, okay. And he was very, don't get me wrong, he was very supportive.
Yeah.
But it's again, I can say I'm supportive, but then it's like the day-to-day is like, oh shoot, you really have to leave now? I'm in class with girls whose husbands are lawyers and things like that. And they're like, yeah, honey, go straight to the library as soon as you get out of class so you can study while it's fresh in your head. And I'm calling my husband, he's like, well, what's for dinner? So it's that thing. And it was a challenge, honestly. We bumped heads a lot.
But the kid is a challenge and you're going to school.
Exactly. And so, but he did end up being supported. Still was like a 3-year program.
Okay.
And so it was just like, and then, different semesters are there. Different things, you have more time here and all that. But it was like, okay, wait, what is going on? And I had to just reevaluate a lot, and more importantly, so I went to Chicago State to have the program, to go through the program, and that was one of the schools where the most Black, people were going to become an OT. And because number one, physical medicine, occupational therapy, physical therapy, it's about 4% minority, okay? But it was listed, in 2018 as the number 1 and number 2 job to have.
Oh.
So that means you enjoy what you do,
right?
but it ain't no Black folks in it.
Gotcha.
And so I can understand why they made it. Even we think about Chicago State, like, oh, okay, well, yeah, it's not a historically Black college, but they call it
like they do.
Yeah. But in that program, it was pharmacy, nursing, and OT. That was a very diverse school because you had walks of life because it was just such a challenging program. And so anyway, the teachers were on you so hard. And it was like, I'm not going to be a neurosurgeon. I'm going to be an OT. But they needed us Black faces to know you're going to be walking in these rooms talking to a lot of doctors, talking to a lot of families. You have to be so confident in yourself and know your stuff that we can't have that because they are going to look at you.
They are like, who are you to tell me this is my treatment plan?
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So they were and I could have left many times, like literally, like, what, it's not worth it. They don't want me to graduate. My family don't even want me in the program. Right. So but no, like I'm getting this done. This is what I said I was doing.
Not to cut you off, but was having more minorities there, was that helpful to you?
I mean, it was. It was maybe I won't say half and half, but it was a very diverse program.
Right.
You know. But I came from an HBCU, so I would say, you know, maybe it was helpful. But I just couldn't believe how much stress they put on us. But you know, having other female Black professors and who had their doctorate, who've been in the industry for a long time, that's basically what they said. Like, you are going to be challenged.
So they wanted to get you prepared for the challenge.
It was straight camp.
That's so would you say that helped you?
Yes, absolutely. It did, because when you can't out OT me. You know what I mean?
I'm the boss. And that's what Black boss ladies do. You know, I'll do me in my thing now.
And it's the queen, and not that I can't learn.
Yeah, but you know what you know.
But I know what I know, and I know what I know. You know, and that's just it. And that's what you want to do for anybody. Instill confidence.
So you do. I think there's a different. I talked about this with some young ladies yesterday, and it's like men have a right to stand in a space and just be cocky, and nobody ever says anything. But the moment a woman does that, it's a problem. It's almost like, no, bring that shoulder down, that chin down a little bit. No, I'm just confident in what I know because I worked really hard to be in this space. It wasn't given to me.
Exactly.
So if I'm here, it's because I know my shit.
Yeah, I know my shit. Respect that.
Respect it.
And I was the same with you. I, watched you, and I said I knew being a real estate agent was a new field at that time.
Yes.
But you came in with just so much precedent. You know what I mean? Like, you were just like, because it wasn't just, oh yes, I'm a novice. You know what I mean? Like, it was what you had from years ago.
Because that's when I got in the game. Because people see a lot of Black women doing real estate. But when you start doing deals, we are a minority. Like, so you're in deals with white men. I've had situations where I had to take classes and I've been treated a different way because I'm a Black woman. And I may challenge you on the contract. I may challenge you that your seller is like not doing something. And you have to stand in there with us. But I used to tell them all the time, I'm new to real estate, but I'm not new to business.
Yes.
Right? So I'm new to this space. But most people, what I started learning is that I know it, like, because I study it and I love it in a sense. And most people only studied enough to do their first year. That's what I mean. Like, I've been in the business 30 years. You don't have 30 years of experience. You have 1 year of experience competed 30 years over. Yeah. So, you haven't really studied it. And I'm starting like, but I don't care about that. This is what this says. You know, right? So, real estate was new, but business wasn't.
Exactly. Exactly. And you made it look easy.
It's not though. Just like OT. No.
So
you graduated, you finally make your family,
And that was our moment. Look, with the hubby, it was to say, like, I did it. I got it done. I did what I said I was going to do. Now, increasing, a more steady income without just the hands-on. Because, if you work in the right area of massage and things, like I said, you go to the right place, you can make a good living, but you want to go, and we always powerful these throughout Chicago, like rehab, guts, flips, all that. So that was our little extra thing too. But you want to, just, say, hey, I promised you this, I fulfilled it, and look, now my job is more flexible. He literally joked the other day about an interview I had, and he said it sounded like two friends, because she had twins too. And so he said, talk around two friends, and that's what can happen. When, look, we did the hard work, you got your license. Now it's just, okay, does this position fit for you, and does it fit for you? And then, all right, sure.
Is this a win-win?
Is it a win-win? And not every OT job, is like that, but certain ones, the interviewing process isn't as challenging as when, marketing business, that can be,
So so you finish, you go out and you start working in the space. How's it been?
It's been a great experience, and I enjoy it. I love OT. I love the fact, again, like I said, you can literally, hey, I worked in a hospital for a while. Okay, well, you know what? COVID happened, things like that. Okay, now I'm doing outpatient therapy. Okay, well, now the kids are all in school, so hey, I can move to the school system, things like that. And I'm not saying this is everything I did. I'm just saying that's what
got options.
Options.
Yeah.
And one thing I had to do, and this is what I'll say, because we're talking and you guys are walking along my life journey, but I had to remember everything was for me. I had to realize everything's still under one umbrella, and that umbrella is serving people, encouraging others, helping people to live their best life, and pouring into themselves. So whether it was a book, whether it was massage, whether it was OT, everything still
has the same
energy behind it.
And a reflection of you at different stages of your life.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of times when we're interviewing BBL women on our platform, what they start to see is as they go on their journey, it's always who they were anyway. It's just the different vehicles they decide to jump in at that time, right? But they really are doing exactly who they are. They're becoming more in whatever vehicle that shows up. Yeah. So one of the things that caught my eye recently is that you started an organization, Care for the Caring. Tell us a little bit about that.
So
she was on the TV show. I saw. What was the show?
The Today Show.
The Today Show.
Yeah, they were honoring local Black heroes in your community. So it was, out of, so many people in the United States, and I was selected to be honored. Thank you. I said, when they said, Stefanie Moore, I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, those are my new friends now. So,
that's how I roll.
But it was so exciting. And another thing again, because when I say it was a God moment, it was like when it came to Care for the Caring, everything that I started touching with it started just happening for it. And I'm like, that's God saying, look, when I give you a vision to do something, I'm going to send you everything you need to get it done. And so, in being an occupational therapist and working with so many different patients, and because I never just treat the patient, I treat the family. So when you're treating a family, you see the wife of the patient and the mother of the patient and the siblings of the patient getting, may get burnt out.
Their whole life is turned
and their whole life has changed.
Just like you said that when you were just starting out, that lady said, I can't do this.
He said, I can't do it
because now you become your whole life changes.
Your whole life changes. And so, and then it hit home for my family. My mother, my dad was diagnosed with dementia, and my mother was his caregiver, and I watched her neglect her health, taking care of him. And so it was like, wait, what's going on? What other resources do we have for caregivers? And I said, you know what? Let's do something for caregivers. It's a lot. And what did I do? Tied in my spiral with being an OT, having a network with the caregivers. And so I started giving them spa days and massages and things like that, and say, you know what? And I was like, well, they still have to go home to this this duty of theirs, this position, and they still are feeling overwhelmed and stressed. But you know what? And it was like I said, that one day still built them up enough
to get
clean. Yeah, week the month, and so that's when Care for the Caring was created, and a dear friend even helped me come up with a title, just even say, well, what are you doing? And focus on the positive. Don't just say, oh, not burn out, because when you create a business name, you don't focus on the negative, you focus on the positive.
The payoff.
And when you create a business name, you kind of want your name to say what you do. Now, if it is your branding yourself or whatever, and if you can, because everything you can't do that. Walmart is not saying, but and I wanted people to know what it was right there. So care for the caring, and that's what I'm doing. I'm caring for the person who gives most selflessly, because they don't have the diagnosis. They could choose to do, and some people have to choose to put them in a nursing home. Don't ever feel like
they right now even got the capacity, the resources, anything.
Exactly. And if it's better for the patient, go ahead. But it was I just wanted to pour to people that were.
That's a skill.
Yeah.
And when I saw the care for the caring, and I know you just said if you need to go to the nursing home, then do it. I immediately thought about Black families because it's from that communal environment that we come from, right? That we usually take care of our home, right? And we often don't put our family members into nursing homes for several reasons. And, it could be because we're expected to care for our
Mama saying, don't you put me in no nursing home. We saying we gonna take care of you.
Yeah.
Some people do it because they still living off of the income,
That's part of our, I think, so we have a few examples of that. Growing up, my great-grandfather, he was pretty much the breadwinner of the family, but he needed help. And his house was the house everybody went to, and somebody stayed there. And we never put him, I think he was in the home for like 5 minutes, right after he got out of the hospital at one time. So granddaddy, that was an example of like the community and our family needed his income. But I also have to give hats out because I saw what you and your two sisters did for grandma. Like, she did not have to go, and y'all were adamant about it, and the whole family stepped up and took care of my grandmother in her last days. And I just remember that I wasn't able to be there, but I knew that everybody else was like taking care of her. And I remember I was like, I'm gonna come home because I just had moved here. And she was like, you're not coming home, you're gonna stay there. But like our family, her going to a rehab just wasn't all shit. And everybody kept saying, oh, the girls did so great. The girls are her girls. Right. I know you made a comment about having to now have a doctorate to be in OT. So if somebody's sitting there and they want to go into occupational therapy, they can't get a master's anymore. They got to get a doctorate, right? What are some other things that you can give them, like tips or advice as they transition into that space?
So I would suggest anybody, number one, we can get inspired by anybody's occupation, anybody's business, being a wife, want to be a mother. We can get so inspired by that. But we have to remember our lives are its own puzzle piece. And if this is your puzzle piece, it fits this way. And it's going to work well this way. As soon as you try to groove it into somewhere else, you're scraping and scratching and breaking it apart, trying to fit. So any avenue you want to go into, pray about it. Know if this is for me, it is going to, all the things going to fall right, because everything you do on the hardest day, you got to still know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And so for that, you can go. If they do have programs, if you're in undergrad and you want to go directly into getting your doctorate, and they can lump it all together. So that's the good thing about it. Okay. But if it is a career change for you, then you do have to look into the prereqs and then, go find a program that fits your schedule, because you have to be able to make that commitment. But when you come out of it, your phone is literally blowing up with job opportunities and things like that. So that's the avenue for OT.
Check with God. Just get back and see your thing, your dominion, your space you're supposed to be in, and then find the best program and stay committed to the journey, because it's not easy.
It's not easy.
Then nothing worth having is easy.
That's not at all. No.
Well, Stephanie, we really appreciate you coming by, sharing your story. The book, I got wherever you see this video, it's going to be a link to the book. Single so yes, we got to make sure we get all those resources out so people can be able to. Is that what you're caring for the caring? Do you take donations and stuff like that?
So we take donations. We also have sweatshirts for sale and things like that. And so
Okay.
Awesome. Website.
Yes,
Website.
yes, it's called care, the number 4, thecaring.com.
Okay, awesome. So once again, thank you, and you truly are a Black boss lady.
Thank you, guys.
More on the Black Boss Lady platform.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on the BBL Platform Podcast, the place where legacies live. We hope you will join us on our next inspirational journey to success. Be sure to rate, like, and subscribe to our show. For more information, please visit our website at theBBLplatform.com.